Hello and welcome to the open house for the School of Business. I'm Anke, I lead the School of Business at Udacity, and I also teach in a few of our programs. And I'm joined by Sam.
Hey, I'm Sam, and I lead the School of Data Science at Udacity. So any of the programs related to business analytics, data science, and more.
Good, and today we thought we would cover first an overview of the School of Business. We will tell you a little bit more about the nano-degree programs. We'll explain what nano-degree programs really are and how they work. And then we'll also talk a little bit about the different programs that we offer in our school. And hopefully with that, we'll help you to figure out which program you should choose. And then we'll get to questions from the audience. But let's get started first with that overview School of Business. And what I want to do here is just give you an idea of the programs that we have. We have a digital marketing program that basically is a program that gets you started to become a digital marketer. We have a Google Ads program that covers everything about Google Ads, quite a big platform for a marketer, important one. And then we have the Google Analytics nano degree that kind of goes into a little bit more kind of data and data analysis for marketers. Now that brings me close to what the data programs look like in the business school. We have two of those.
Yeah, first one is business analytics, which is great for someone starting out and using analytics in a business context. And the next is predictive analytics for business. So using some of the principles and techniques in data science and machine learning, but for someone who maybe doesn't know how to code and isn't as strong in statistics.
And then we have our product development program. Actually, we have the Design Sprint Foundations program, which is a program that helps people think through concepts and design a new product in a very short sprint. We'll explain a little bit about that later, but that's basically what we cover today. Of course, our team is always busy behind the scenes developing new programs. So watch this space if you hope to see other business programs come up. But with that, let's first kind of get a little bit more of a sense of what a nano degree really is.
Great. Thanks, Anke. So as you can see here, practical application of in-demand skills, cutting-edge curriculum, and portfolio projects and industry-recognized credential. So the nano degree, the way it's set up, is a series of courses and projects that fit together to prepare you for a particular job. We want to give you not only the content, but also help you develop skills that you need and the portfolio you need to go and take that to the market and land a job in that field. So we work really tightly with industry professionals to make sure that the content and the projects that you're working on are recognized and important, and they're going to be impressive when you go out into the job market.
Yeah, so a little bit more maybe about how that exactly works in practice.
Yeah, first we have three main things. So in the classroom, you go through our curriculum that's developed, again, to industry experts. You get a lot of hands-on work as you learn the principles. Then we have the sandbox. That's where you're working on different projects to actually put these things into practice. So if you're working on a marketing program, you actually get to run a live campaign in Facebook or not just learning about the theory of it, but getting your hands dirty and actually running a campaign. And then on the data programs, you actually work in a simulated workspace where you're working on real world data sets and putting together your analyses. And then that feeds into your portfolio. So you take each of the kind of the finished products of these projects, and you have a nice, well-developed portfolio that you go take to market.
Yeah, so I'll show you a little bit more about what that looks like in practice. So we have our classroom experience. So that's basically really what you do is you log on to your classroom. There you consume videos and some animated videos as well. And that's where we explain the concepts. So you go through these videos, they're all short videos. You do it on your time, whenever you want to log on. And you basically get kind of a sequence of short video and a few quizzes as well in the classroom. So that's where you learn the concepts. And then you get into that project experience. So really getting hands-on experience with what you've learned. And as Sam indicated, in our digital marketing program, actually get to run live campaigns. So what we do, we give you basically that we created, and you get to advertise that ebook. And you basically try to get people to download the ebook, and then you get email addresses for that in return. So that's the product. You get to run a live campaign on Facebook, or you also get to run a live campaign on Google Ads. This is actually just a few examples of campaigns that have run on Facebook so far. This is what the environment looks like for AdWords. So here are a few of the ads that our students have run for Google Ads in our digital marketing nano degree program. And basically students then come out with a portfolio that they can show to employers later on when you look for a job. And of course, in the classroom, you're not alone, right? We have some student support for you as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So our programs is not just about having content to learn. We have help for you along the way in case you get stuck or need help or need more context. So the first one is having mentors. So on our sub, you can chat with other students. The mentors are in there answering questions and can help you specifically on the projects, but also through some of the content. We have project reviewers. So when you submit a project, you actually have reviewers, human, who reviews that and gives you personalized feedback on how to improve it. And if you need to resubmit, you can and get additional feedback from reviewers. We also have a knowledge base we call Knowledge. It's kind of an online forum where a lot of questions that you may have been asked in the past, and we'll have either other students, Udacity staff, or our mentors with responses to help you along through the course. And lastly, our online student hub where you can chat with other students and study groups and talk about how you're working through the content, or talk about things that aren't content related, the job market and getting advice and things like that. So you're definitely not alone, and we have lots of resources to help you as you go through the program.
Yeah, and you'll build up a community of other students, and later when you become an alum, you can actually keep connecting with those people. We have an alum association as well. So then really to the question of which program you should choose. We have several on offer. So what we thought we would do is go through our programs one by one. So we have digital marketing and Google Ads, Google Analytics. We'll then go through business analytics, predictive analytics for business, and design sprint foundations. So I'll just kick that off with a digital marketing nano degree. So this program was developed with several industry parts. We worked with Facebook, with Google, with Hootsuite, HubSpot, MailChimp, and Moz. They're all really important marketing platforms that are good to have in your portfolio as a marketer. So they're good to know about. That's why we choose these partners to work with. So what do you learn in that program? What do we cover? So we start off with marketing fundamentals. So that really means that you don't need any marketing experience to get started. Anyone who wants to get started digital marketing career can join this program. There's no knowledge that you need to have ahead of time. We'll walk you through all of it. So we start with fundamentals, then we go through content strategy. A lot of marketing is really about starting out with the right content. So we go through that. Then we talk about social media marketing. That's the organic, the non-paid version of social media. Then you have social media advertising with Facebook. Then we go through search engine optimization. That's really where Moz helps us. Search engine optimization is important. It's something you don't pay for, so it's not advertising, but it's an important task that you need to know about as a marketer. Then we go through search engine marketing with Google Ads. We do display advertising also with Google Ads. We also cover YouTube in that chapter. We look at email marketing. Email marketing is still really important, so it's important to get a good handle on that as well. And then we look at how you measure your results and how you optimize. Now, the whole program comes at a price of $9.99, and it takes you about 3 to 4 months to get through it. And that really assumes that you study about 10 hours a week. That includes your projects. So it's a decent work, but you can get through it in that time. We have some students that finish in 3 months. Some students take a little bit longer, like 4 to sometimes 5 months. But that's basically the digital marketing nano degree program. Then our Google Ads program is a program that takes you a little deeper into the Google Ads platform. So lots of things you can do with that platform. So you may think of Google Ads as right, definitely is all about search, but there are many other things as well that Google offers. So we start in this course again with marketing fundamentals, such that if you don't know anything about digital marketing, you can still get started with this particular program. Then we'll cover AdWords fundamentals, like how is AdWords really built, like how does the platform work. Then we look specifically at search marketing. Then we look at display advertising with Google. Actually, there's a lot of opportunities in display, so a really interesting area to further explore. Then we have mobile advertising. Actually, Google has specific programs it offers to do app advertising. If you want app downloads, then this particular course will help you to understand how you can get those conversions using Google. We also look at video advertising with YouTube, and then we cover e-commerce advertising. So that's all about shopping ads for Google. If you're a user, you've probably seen shopping ads, but creating those is a little bit more involved, but this program really do all of that. At the end of this program, you would be ready to take all of the Google certificates. There are several certificates that you can get for AdWords, but of course you also, at the end of this program, if you graduate, then you also get our nanodegree certificate. There are two projects in this program. You have, again, you run search ads and you run display ads in this course. It also costs $9.99 and takes the same amount of time as the digital marketing nanodegree, so 3 to 4 months. Google is indeed a very in-depth platform, so hence it takes a while to get to learn all of it. And then we have our Google Analytics degree program. That's one that we designed together with Google and with Enor. Enor is actually a consultant that consults large companies on how to use Google Analytics. So they're very much experts in this. Google Analytics is something that many of you may already have used, and you will find that using the basic implementation of Google Analytics is not all that difficult. We cover a lot of that in the digital marketing nano degree. And then here in this course, we start with the basic implementation and the basic reporting in our first course. Then we take another step that goes a lot more in depth, because then what we do is we also teach you how you can actually set up Google tracking code in your website to make sure that your data come in properly in the Google Analytics account. So you learn how to use Google Tag Manager, which is a tool that you can use to install code on a website to get the data. Then we talk about advanced displays, filtering, segmentation. We will dive a little deeper into acquisition, conversion, attribution, and how to set that up properly so that you get the most out of those reports. We will also talk about creating dashboards. And for that, we also teach you how to use data studios in Google. That's another part where you can actually use the Google Analytics data to build really cool dashboards that you can use to, say, talk to your management or just get a good handle on how you're performing against goals that you may have set for yourself. So a very in-depth program on Google Analytics. Again, you don't need prior analytics. You may need some prior concepts of marketing. It's focused on using Google Analytics as a marketer. So good to have some background as a marketer, but you don't need to have background in Google Analytics. We really start from scratch. Again, a program that costs $9.99 and takes about time, 3 to 4 months to get through. Projects in this case are really hands-on projects using Google Analytics data. We also, throughout the course, get to use the Google Merchandise Store data. So that's a Google Analytics account or the Google Merchandise Store, and we use that in depth so that you can get a good handle on using Google Analytics with real data. So that's what that program is about. So now on the Business Analytics nano degree.
Yeah, so the business is really well suited for someone starting out learning analytics and trying to use that to make business decisions. And so there's no prerequisites. There's 3 main courses that are covered. The first one is Business Analytics with Excel. You start off by learning a very practical view of how to use statistics in business analytics, and then how to clean and manipulate and analyze and visualize data using Excel. And then actually have some new content that's just about to come out that covers business metrics. So how to select your key metrics and build Excel models to do scenario analysis with those metrics. The next course is SQL for data analysis. So SQL is becoming a very important tool for anyone doing data. That is your full-time job as a data analyst, or this is just you pulling some simple reports. Learning SQL really makes you self-sufficient and being able to access and analyze your own data. And then lastly, going from analyzing the data and putting it together to visualizing it and telling stories. And we use Tableau in that course. So you have a couple lessons that focus on the theory of data visualization and how to do it well, and then how to do that in Tableau to put together visualizations, dashboards, and eventually tell stories to make the most of your work. So that price is $5.99 and takes about 3 to 4 months. And then the next kind of analytics-focused course is Predictive Analytics for Business. This course really dives into applied data science for business people. You look at a lot of the techniques that data scientists may use, but from a perspective of a business person who maybe is not quite as technical. And so you don't have to learn to code to do this, as we use a tool called Alteryx, where it's a drag and drop configurable tool to be able to build predictive models and things like that. So there are 6 courses. The first one is really learning the process of using advanced analytics. And then the next one is about preparing data, which is a very important step, and getting the data in the right format is often more of the work than actually putting together the models. And then you look into regression modeling, classification models, A/B test, time series modeling, and then customer segmentation using clustering models. That's 9.9. It's a little bit longer course, takes usually about 4 to 5 months to finish. And people leaving this course are really ready to go start using these models and improving their decision making.
Great. Well, then we have one more course on the business school side, which is our Design Sprint Foundations Nano Degree program. And as I said, this is a course that kind of fits in the product development space. And what this course is all about is it's really using it's used quite a bit actually in Silicon Valley to come up with new product concepts and to really start thinking about like, how do I create a product from scratch, but come up with a good prototype of that product in a very short amount of time. This program actually takes after the book that was created by Jay Knapp at Google Ventures. He actually wrote a book that's called Sprint. In his book, he describes a 5-day method to develop a product. In this course, we take a 4-day approach to this. So we've shortened it slightly. But what the course is about, it's really about kind of a method where you bring a team together to first create a concept for your product. Then you create a storyboard that really goes a little bit more in depth around how a customer will interact with your product. And then you create a prototype. And then in the 4th course, we teach you all about user testing, which is so essential in this type of method where you quickly prototype something. You actually have something that you can go talk to customers about and you can test. So we give you all the tools and methods to replicate this method so that you use that in your own environment, whether that be in the business that you're in or for your own business. This program costs $5.99. It was developed together with experts at AJ and Smart, and it takes you about a month to get through. As well, you run through, as with all our programs, you're going to do projects, and those projects are a very hands-on, practical experience through the whole sprint process where you yourself are going to create these prototypes. So that's what that Design Sprint Foundations is all about. That's basically what we have. And of course, I said new things come out all the time. But in the meantime, we would like to hand it over to questions for you. I know some of you have already given us our questions, and we will start reading those now. So hi, everyone. Thanks a lot for all your questions. So we've been following the questions that have been asked, and we want to address a few of those. So actually, first, we saw a question around real-life projects. So yes, indeed, we are running real-life projects in all of these degrees. So you have, for instance, in Digital Marketing Nano degree, you're going to run real campaigns. And there, actually, you do get a choice. You can either advertise a product that we provide you, actually an ebook. And so we're going to give you an ebook with a landing page, and you will have to advertise and generate conversions for that. But if you choose, you can also advertise your own business. So it depends on what you would like to achieve through that project, but they're real life projects. So that's really all about, our programs are very focused on just practical learning. We want to make it as practical as possible. And typically what we try to do is in our projects, we try to mimic what your experience in the job will look like. So that's very much what we're trying to do with that. So yes, live projects for sure. There was also another question actually from Robert around barriers to entry as you transition from maybe another career that you may have had before this. Say, in this case, I think Robert was asking, well, I've been in sales for a while and I'm interested in transitioning into digital marketing. Is that kind of a good idea? And how do I do that? And I think the Digital Marketing Nano degree will help you with that. I think your question, you also asked whether AdWords might be a good program for that. I think I would advise to start with the Digital Marketing Nano degree. It's a very it's a broader degree. It covers all the different aspects of digital marketing. But what I think it will do is it will help you see how all your experience in sales translates very easily into a digital marketing job. I think when it then comes to making that transition and trying to find a job in that area, what you're going to have to try and do is really tell that story, because you don't want to disregard your experience from before. You want to make sure that you tell a powerful story that really says like, hey, marketing in the end is kind of all about sales. And if you've been in sales and you've experienced that and you've practiced this, you will have an advantage and a leg up. And if you blend that with what you learned in digital marketing, you actually are in a very powerful position. And I think it really is very much about how you tell that story. And with the techniques that you learn in Digital Marketing Nano degree, I really think that you'll be able to make that transition. So I would advise, yes, Digital Marketing Nano degree rather than AdWords. That would be the step that I would take. And if you later on then say, hey, AdWords was really, really interesting to me, I want to go deeper in that, there are always opportunities to do that. But I would get started with Digital Marketing Nano degree for that. Another question that related to the Digital Marketing Nano degree was around, do we cover Facebook and Instagram? And yes, indeed, we do. So we go through both in the course. I would say that our project is more Facebook focused, although when you run advertising in Facebook, it's actually set up such that you can make your ads run on both Instagram and Facebook together. So in that sense, you will get experience in both. It's a little bit more Facebook focused though, but we do also cover Instagram. So that's just related to that particular question. There were also some questions around your courses on the data side.
Yeah, one of the questions was, what are the realistic job outcomes you can expect from the predictive analytics for business nano degree? So there are really kind of two directions you can go with that. So one is if you want to transition to actually be like a business intelligence analyst. And so you learn a lot of the more advanced skills and techniques used in data science and machine learning, and you go through like hands-on case studies and actually like come up with a solution and a recommendation that you, as if you're presenting to business. So that's a great pathway into working in business intelligence and business analytics. Another route is for people who are business leaders and managers who need to make better data-driven decisions and need to understand the capabilities that they have at their fingertips. So you develop a vocabulary and a way to communicate with more technical people to really get the most business value out of them. So we've seen a lot of people that are maybe more at the managerial level, that maybe they're not getting their hands all the way dirty into the data and getting into the weeds, but now they can put together their strategy using these different predictive analytics techniques. So it's really a great program for advancing your role and becoming more data-driven in your current role. And it's also can be a path to transitioning into more technical role. Another question that I saw come through just a second ago was about classroom participation. And I'm going to just scroll up so I can see exactly what that was. Here we go, just one second. So what is required for classroom participation, and will classroom be accessible remotely via internet? Yes. So our classroom is completely online. All the classes are self-paced videos and quizzes. We also have a student hub online, so that you can participate as much or as little as you'd like. I think you really get the most out of the nano degree program if you are participating, chatting with other students, mentors, getting help, getting feedback, helping others. We think that's a really integral part of the program. But of course, it's not required. If you're someone who likes to just work by themselves and do their own thing, you don't necessarily have to participate online in the classroom.
I actually also just saw a question come in around, do businesses actually employ individuals who have skills in, say, Alteryx, but not in coding? So how do we look at that as a business analyst?
Absolutely. Thank you. I didn't catch that one.
Sure.
Yes, so definitely there's a huge number of companies, hundreds of companies, and a big portion of the Fortune 500 use Alteryx. A lot of people who know Alteryx then can push their company to buy the license. It's not tremendously expensive, and it also really gets data into the hands of people that don't have to spend months and months learning how to code. And so, yes, people definitely are looking for Alteryx. I've been to the Alteryx conference. Companies are hungry to hire people that already know the skills and ramp up people who have it. So, but again, not all companies use it. And really, if you're doing data analysis, you should be ready to ramp up in new tools. Or when you go into a company, really push the idea of, hey, I know how to do it in this tool. Like I need to get this license. And generally, companies are pretty amenable to that.
Yeah, I actually also I just saw a question come in as well around freelance work and whether the digital marketing nano degree prepares you for freelance work. And actually, I would say that digital marketing is one of those professions where there's a lot of opportunity for freelancers. So if that's the path you want to take, absolutely. And I think the digital marketing nano degree prepares you with a few things. On the one hand, you could choose, say, for instance, to concentrate on, say, content marketing and storytelling. A lot of opportunity there for freelancers. Freelancers often combine that with social media marketing and providing, it could be either stories that you tell for kind of viral distribution through social networks, writing. There are people who manage smaller AdWords accounts or Facebook accounts remotely. So there's actually a ton of opportunity there. And if that's the path that you choose, absolutely, digital marketing nano degree can help you with that. We actually have had several students that have taken that path. We had students as well who came from, who kind of have what we call a digital nomad lifestyle, that just like to travel and combine traveling with working and doing that as a freelancer. We had several students that were in that situation, and this seems to have helped them quite a bit. So yes, there's absolutely opportunity for that. We also had a question come in around, if I've been in advertising and marketing for a while in an agency, does this nano degree help me to get to a mid-management or mid-level position rather than just entry level? And I would say the degree is intended to really start from scratch, right? So if you don't have experience, you'll get a lot out of this degree. But we have seen many people that have taken the degree and that already have a marketing background, but that say, hey, I may know aspects of search marketing, for instance, but not so much social media marketing. Or I don't necessarily know how to put all these pieces together and how to manage the whole of digital marketing. So in that sense, it can help a lot. We actually also have enterprises that buy the product to help people upskill and to really just achieve that next step in their career. So I would say, yes, that opportunity is there. You might go a little faster through the degree if you already have some of that background, because we really start with marketing fundamentals. We teach our frameworks, the frameworks that we think are important to kind of keep as a guide throughout your career. And those frameworks apply throughout our whole nano degree. So I think it can be helpful in that sense. One other question that I got was around Google Analytics. If you don't have experience in this field, would you start immediately with Google Analytics, or would you do digital marketing nano degree first? Now, our Google Analytics degree has been built as well to make it possible for you to start from scratch. I would say if you don't have any marketing experience, it may at times be a little rough, because we talk about like very common concepts in marketing, right? So we'll talk about, we're looking at conversions, we are looking at click-through rates. We'll point to all of that in the Google Analytics account. And if you don't have a way to put that together from a marketing point of view, it may be a little bit tough. So in that sense, digital marketing might be a better starting point. However, if you really say, I really want to get the in-depth knowledge on Google Analytics, become an analyst, you may do a little bit of side work to understand some of the marketing concepts, but you could get started with Google Analytics. Keep in mind, as you go through Google Analytics, there is a part of the Google Analytics course that focuses on how to implement the code. So how do you implement Google Analytics on your site so that it actually spits out the right reports for you? That is, while you don't need to know how to code, it is a tiny bit more technical. So it's a little bit more in the weeds on how to really become an expert in Google Analytics. So it goes pretty much in depth. I think it's a fabulous course. It also has a whole course around how do you build dashboards with Google Data Studio, for instance, which is another aspect of a very powerful tool that Google is pushing quite a bit. That could be really beneficial to know about in your career. So definitely, it would be good, I think, if you are struggling with that question, to go through the syllabus for digital marketing, go through the syllabus for Google Analytics, compare them and see what you feel most comfortable with, and whether you feel that delving into Google Analytics is where you see the opportunity. If you struggle with it, once you get in the classroom, we have our mentors and our reviewers, we have our team to help you out as well. So definitely something to keep in mind.
Great. Yeah. So I've also seen a couple of questions about the price and whether, ROI and taking a gamble on a career change and all those things. So, we know that there's a lot of free content out there. What's great about coming to Udacity is, and Anke and I know this because we spend a lot of the time doing this, is we spend a lot of time working with industry, identifying the skills that they need and building a program specifically around those skills. Spend time on calls with dozens and dozens of people in industry to try to craft these programs in ways that can really help you land the job and create value immediately, not need to be trained up once you get there. And then on top of that, it's not just about the videos. It's about the hands-on practice, actually running the ads, actually working with real-world data sets, and then the personalized feedback from project reviewers and mentors. That level of service is hard to find for the price that we're providing it at. You have lots of options to choose from, and we encourage you to explore them. But we really think that you definitely get the ROI off the price for these programs.
Yeah, and I think I'd agree with that. I also hear you though. Like, this is a time of year where spending a lot of money is often tough, right? Because we get into like end of year, Christmas, all of that. So we hear you on that. And what I'll do is I'll go back to our marketing team, talk to them, see what we can do. Some of you have mentioned like, hey, now for those people that were on the Hangout, if we act today, is there something? So I'll talk to the team. And so watch your email to see whether we can do something about that. And hopefully we can come back to you with a discount coupon or something that can actually make this a little bit easier. So I'll follow up on that today. I also wanted, so I saw a question around, so well, if you take this session and it's over Christmas and New Year's, it's a busy time, there's holidays and all of that. So if I don't complete everything on time, then what happens? So typically our courses are, so we have in our classroom, as you enter the classroom, we lay out deadlines of when you need to submit a project. Now, those are meant to guide you to the program. They're not really, really hard deadlines. If you don't make it, yeah, you get a little extra time. And we do indeed give people more time to complete the whole program. So you get in DMD, for instance, you typically get around 6 months to complete the whole thing so that you're not stuck with, oh, well, I had to be with family and I didn't want to be studying all the time, which we definitely understand. Mm-hmm. So that's something that we can definitely be flexible on. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. And then I think there was one more question, around how our program has changed over the past year. Mm-hmm. And for digital marketing, that's a super relevant question because, as you know, digital marketing, the tools and the whole space changes constantly. So what we do here is we watch kind of where the biggest changes happen. And as we see changes in platforms, etc., we make changes in our classroom as well. So what we've done this year is we changed, so Google AdWords has actually changed dramatically over the past year. They have also rebranded recently, but more importantly, they've really changed the platform and what you can do in the platform, what ads you can run, etc. So we have changed out that entire course so that it's really based on the new platform. We are changing out elements of the Facebook course as well, so that that platform is also that you get the freshest look at that. That happens on an ongoing basis, and we've added somewhat new case studies and things like that in the classroom. So definitely has changed. Say, for instance, for Design Sprint Foundations, we've added a lot more content, new case studies, etc., are also in that classroom. So we do that on an ongoing basis, and we've definitely changed quite a bit over the past year. We try to make sure that everything stays as fresh as possible. So we're here with the team to do that in all our programs, your programs too, right? So
absolutely, yeah. Actually, for the business analytics one, we just updated our page with the new content that we're adding in some additional lessons around building Excel models and identifying and building scenario analysis around different important key business metrics. So that's something that as we've done more research and talked with more students, that's something we wanted to add. So you kind of again, to reiterate, refreshing the courses is something we pay a lot of attention to. We don't let our content get stale.
Yeah, no, that's definitely important. I think, well, we did get a few questions or a few comments around streaming quality. We don't quite know kind of what's up and whether that's kind of YouTube side or what's really happening there. But yes, this is recorded so you can watch it again. So we'll make sure that somehow that link gets posted to you as well. Because I know that that's frustrating if you log on to something and then it doesn't work. That's not very nice.
Yep. So I just saw one more question come in. I have a BA in business administration, emphasis in marketing. career in marketing, not sure if I should do one of these programs or get an MBA. And Anka may have thoughts on this too. But so we were both, advocates for MBA programs. I have an MBA. Anka taught in an MBA program. That's a phenomenal experience. I think it's very different than coming in and skilling up here. This is much more about having a targeted set of skills that you want to skill up in, shorter duration, and really maximizing ROI impact. The MBA is, a lot more learning, a lot longer content, a lot bigger investment of your time and money. But also, you're going to be learning a lot more and building a bigger network. So choosing between the two, if you're really just like wanting to skill up in a few areas, the nano degrees are, much less expensive and much more targeted versus, doing a graduate program.
Yeah, I think so. I think that there's different reasons to choose each one, right? So I think that's something that you will really have to assess for yourself. Like, what do you really want to achieve? Is it really just a very specific skill that you want to learn more about and get that very practical hands-on knowledge, or do you want to go in that broader program? And definitely both are interesting options. I also got like one question here around, like, can we comment on placement for graduates of our programs? I think we have seen in the DM&D program, we actually see people taking the program for different reasons. There's one group of people that takes the program to find a job in digital marketing. And we've actually seen people being successful at that, kind of finding their first jobs. Some people through first starting with an internship and then getting into a job. We see many people go to agencies. We see people go into large companies and enter in typically a large marketing department, and enter as a kind of junior associate in that department, kind of based on a little bit also what their previous experience was. If you don't have a lot of previous experience, then a junior associate role is typically what we see for students. We also have students that take the degree because they want to use this for their own business. We've seen quite a few of those. And for some of them, that has really helped them and they've been very successful with it. We've seen people, for instance, we've had people that have been out of the workplace for a little bit. Say, for instance, we've had mothers that have taken time off to be with children for a while, and then use this degree to refresh their marketing skills and go back into the workplace after that. So we see people who are we have a few students in large advertising agencies picking up at higher levels, just basically having refreshed their skill set, and as a result feel a little bit more confident when they go back into the workplace. And then we have some people that do this to freelance, and we've seen good success with that as well. So that works well for our students. So that's basically around placing for digital marketing for the nano degree. I don't know for the data programs whether there are other placement stories that you have, or?
Yeah, so I mean, pretty similar. People, again, placement rates are a little bit hard to put specific numbers on just because people take them for dramatically different reasons. For the business one, for these particular programs, business analytics and predictive analytics, people often are using it to advance in their current job, or skill up in their current job, or because they're now required to do more data-driven stuff, so they want to skill up. But we've had lots of people that have taken business analytics or predictive analytics for business and have gone on to go work at fantastic companies in business intelligence and data analysis and business analytics roles. Whether that's Fortune 500 companies, big tech companies, or smaller companies as well. We've seen, and we have on our website, you can go and see a lot of our success stories.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then we have one more question around whether our programs qualify for the 529 college savings plans. To be honest, I don't know. I think that's a question for our support team. I think I'm not sure that they do actually. But I think that's something that you may want to email in to, I think it's support@udacity.com. I think they'll be able to answer that question for you. We do know that many people do expense this with their employers. So we see a lot of people asking for invoices that go to an employer. So that's definitely a possibility. So that is basically, I think those are main questions we're seeing. I'm just looking at whether there seems to be another question. Is it possible to split the payment for courses? I believe so. I think that you can actually that there's a monthly payment plan, I believe, on our website. So you may want to check that out. But really paying for a portion of the degree and then paying for some of the degree later on, that type of plan we don't have. But we do have a monthly payment plan. So you may want to look into that.
But yeah, I see your question, Robert. That again, I think I would reach out to support about that one in particular, because I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that in the past, but maybe support could work something out.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that brings us to I think we've answered most of the questions. Feel free to reach out if there are more questions that you have.
Definitely. Yeah.
And then watch for an email from us. With hopefully we can get a discount going. So I'm going to look into that today. But yeah, thank you very much for all joining us on this info session. And we hope to see you in our classrooms.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.